Have you ever landed on a website and it just felt easy, like calm and simple to use, and then others that are just, frustrating and a total strain on your eyes? Well, a huge part of that feeling comes down to one simple principle we see everywhere in nature: contrast. So today we're going to explore how the natural world can teach us to build way better, more intuitive digital spaces.
This right here gets to the heart of it. This isn't just about making things look pretty. Out in the wild, being clear and easy to see can literally be the difference between finding food or starving, between staying safe and becoming somebody else's lunch. It's not just a cool metaphor, it's a core principle of design.
I mean, just think about this. A berry doesn't need a pop-up or a little sign. Its bright color, shouting against the green leaves, sends one instant, effortless message: "Hey, over here, I'm food." That is peak communication efficiency. And it works the other way too, for the opposite message. The crazy, high-contrast patterns on a poisonous frog, they're not a fashion statement. They are a crystal-clear warning sign that screams, "Do not mess with me." In both cases, contrast gets a critical message across, no confusion whatsoever.
So, it's pretty obvious that nature gives us a masterclass in clarity. But what happens when we totally ignore those lessons in the digital worlds we're building?
Well, this is what happens. When our websites don't have that natural clarity, they create what our source calls a digital fog. You know that feeling. It's that murky, confusing vibe where everything's hard to read and just finding what you're looking for feels like a huge chore.
And this really frames the choice we have as designers and developers. On one side, you've got the effortless clarity of a walk in the woods on a sunny day. On the other, you have this digital fog, this frustrating barrier that honestly, we often put in front of our users without even realizing it.
And this fog doesn't hit everyone the same way. For someone with low vision or cataracts, it's like they're trying to read through a constant haze. For people with color vision deficiency, key colors can just mush together, making important info totally invisible. But let's be real, it affects every single one of us. Whether it's that digital eye strain you feel at the end of a long day, or just trying to read your phone screen when the sun is out. Good contrast isn't a niche feature, it's for everyone.
Thankfully, we have a map to get out of this fog. We have actual established standards that tell us exactly what good contrast means. There's no guesswork involved. This is our rulebook, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG for short. It gives us specific, testable targets. This isn't about opinions or what you think looks good. It's about clear, measurable math.
Okay, so for most websites, the goal is what's called Level A compliance. And really, that boils down to two key numbers you just have to remember. For your regular, normal-sized text, the contrast between the text and whatever's behind it needs to be at least 4.5 to 1. For bigger text, like your main headlines, the rule is a bit more relaxed, at 3 to 1.
So let's drill down on this. 4.5 to 1. This is the big one. This is the ratio that makes sure most of the text on your site, the paragraphs, the item descriptions, all the important stuff, is readable for the biggest possible audience. You should burn this number into your brain. And here's its partner, 3 to 1. Now this is for large text, sure, but it's also the minimum you need for critical things like buttons, icons, and input fields. I mean, think about it. If a user can't clearly see the button, how are they going to click it?
Now, the fantastic news is that you don't have to be a math whiz to figure these ratios out. There are some incredible tools that make checking contrast super easy.
Here's a great little starter kit. For a quick check online, WebAIM's Contrast Checker is pretty much the industry standard. If you need to check something that's already on your screen, the TPGI Color Contrast Analyzer is a free app with this awesome little eyedropper tool. And for all you designers, a plugin like Stark lets you test everything right inside Figma or Sketch, so you catch problems before they ever get to code. So that brings us to probably the most common headache in web design: putting text on a busy image. If you're not careful, putting text right on top of a photo can be a total disaster for readability.
You've all seen this a million times. The text looks perfectly fine over the dark parts of the image, but the second it drifts over a bright spot, like the sky or a shiny reflection, poof, it just disappears. That's an instant accessibility fail, and it's just plain frustrating for users.
But the fixes are actually pretty simple. Your first option is to add what's called a scrim, which is really just a fancy word for a semi-transparent dark layer that helps even out the background. Or, even easier, just put the text inside a solid colored box. A third trick is to apply a subtle text shadow to give the letters just enough pop to stand out.
And look at the difference. By applying just one of these simple techniques, The exact same text on the exact same image goes from an unreadable mess to perfectly clear. It's a small tweak that makes a massive difference. Pass. So, we've gone through the problem, the rules, and the tools. But honestly, the most important part of all of this isn't a tool or a number. It's about shifting the way we think about design in the first place.
This right here is the biggest takeaway. So many designers think of these accessibility rules as chains that hold back their creativity. But the truth is the exact opposite. Embracing high contrast forces you to be a clearer, more effective communicator. It makes your message sharper and ensures that everyone can receive it.
And this is where it all comes full circle. When we learn from the simple clarity of nature, we can stop building these stressful, confusing digital messes. We can start creating digital habitats that actually work with our human brains, making them calmer, more welcoming, and just plain better for everybody. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about with your own work. Are you building a welcoming habitat where everyone can find what they need, or are you accidentally putting up unnecessary walls? The choice and all the tools to build a better web are right in our hands.